Banks are not geniuses. I know that sounds crazy, but their entire business model, the one that's generated trillions of dollars for hundreds of years, fits in one very simple sentence: borrow money cheap, lend it at a higher rate, and keep the difference. That's it. That's literally their entire secret. They borrow at 2%. Oftentimes, they're paying you less than a percent on the money that you are putting in their bank. And then they're taking your money and they're lending it out at 7%. And they are pocketing the spread every month forever. Whether the economy is booming, whether it's in a recession, whether it's crashing, whether stock market's up, stock market's down, they don't really care. The spread keeps coming in. And they don't need any luck to build their wealth, to build a moat around their wealth. All they need is to understand the structure and the framework and how to execute on it. And that's what they do really, really well. Now, here's where we can get our fair share of that model, because you might already have access to the exact same structure and framework. You just don't know how you can deploy it to align with your goals. You might already be sitting in an asset that you already own, that you've already paid for, and that you're continuing to pay in order to grow. And here's the thing: most people aren't leveraging this to the level that it should be. We're going to talk about how to steal the bank's playbook in today's episode, coming right up. What's going on, guys? Matty A here. As always, thanks for tuning in to the Millionaire Mindcast. With the launch of the Imagos Income Fund, with our Wealth Intelligence Brief newsletter, one of the things that I'm always obsessing over is, how do we bring more value to anybody that wants to listen to us about how to get some alpha and some edge in your investing journey. And I've heard this strategy so many times. I've been using it in my own personal life and investments for the last few years. And I've interviewed, some of the top people leveraging this strategy for years on the podcast. And yet I think now more than ever, this is one of those strategies that people should really be paying attention to, especially in times of high volatility, of uncertainty, with headwinds, with challenges. Like, people need to have strategies and tools at their disposal that allow them to keep taking steps forward. They don't need to be hitting home runs and grand slams all the time. They just need to be executing on base hits, because at the end of the day, you put runners on base, you get enough base hits, you look up at the scoreboard at the end of the ninth inning, you're going to have a lot of points up on the board. But most people aren't taking advantage of this strategy, and I think it's something more people need to do right now. So if you're somebody that has a life insurance policy, whether it's an IUL or a whole life, there's a lot of different ones out there, right? I've got an IUL. I have been building my cash value by investing in this for years now. And of course, why do most people get life insurance? Well, they get it because if they die, God forbid, their beneficiaries will get a payout. But what most people don't understand is that they are building up cash value in that policy. And in that policy, as the cash value gets built up, you can take that money out and put it to work elsewhere. Every premium you pay, a slice of it stacks up inside the policy. It grows and it compounds. Good old Albert Einstein's eighth wonder of the world, the compound effect. It's tax advantaged and it's protected. And most people, and I mean most, have no idea what they can do with it while they're still alive. They think they're just paying into it to protect them for the worst case scenario of if and when they die. But here's what your advisor probably didn't sit you down and explain to you. You can borrow against that cash value right now. And you can do that without surrendering the policy, without triggering a taxable event. And the best part, while your loan is outstanding, the cash value inside that policy keeps growing uninterrupted as if you never touched it. So let that land for a second. The money is working in two places at the same time. That is exactly what banks do at the highest of levels. So think of it like pulling equity out of your house with a HELOC, except your collateral doesn't crash in a bad real estate market and you don't lose the asset. The policy just keeps on running. The growth keeps on happening. You just freed up capital to put to work. That's the sleeping giant on your balance sheet, and most people let it sleep there their entire life. This is where one little strategy like this over 10, 20, 30 years can really accumulate into some real serious cash, can build generational wealth. So here's the play in plain English. Step one, you borrow against your policy's cash value. The loan rate, right, is typically somewhere between 5 and 6% annually. That's going to be your cost of capital to pull that out of your life insurance. Now, step two is now that you have money out of your life insurance, where do you put it? Well, you take that borrowed money and you deploy it into something generating a higher return. There's got to be a spread on it, right? You're not going to borrow at 5% and go put it into something that makes you 5%. That makes no sense. But if you invest into, maybe you want to do a private loan for somebody, maybe you want to come into the Imagos Income Fund that we pay our investors 10%. We do senior secured private credit, asset backed, first position, first lien loans, and we pay our investors 10% annually. Now that starts to make some sense. If you borrow out of your life insurance at 5% and you bring it over into the fund and you can make 10%, and you can pocket the spread, the difference between what you're paying and what you're earning, that's your net income. That's a 5% spread monthly without you working more hours, without you selling anything, without touching the stock market. And the whole time, your policy, this is the powerful part, your policy is still growing that entire time. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce if you are an investor looking to generate consistent passive income, then I've got something for you. I just launched the Imagos Income Fund. It is a private investment debt fund. So instead of relying on long-term appreciation or big exit events like most real estate syndications do, we decided to keep it simple. Focus on first position, asset-backed lending just like a bank, meaning your investment is backed by real collateral and structured to produce income from day one. The target return, 10% paid out annually and also paid out monthly. So no guesswork, real passive returns, true mailbox money. And because we're in the debt position, not equity, we're able to prioritize downside protection, maintain shorter durations, and stay in control of the risk, which is most important in environments like this. This is built for investors who want steady cash flow, strong capital preservation, and real asset exposure without the headaches of owning, managing, and waiting years for a payoff. So if this resonates with you, if you want to learn more, I put together a full investor presentation breaking everything down. All you got to do is just text the word income to 844-447-1555. That's income to 844-447-1555. I'll send you everything so you can see if it's a fit for your portfolio. So let me give you some real numbers because I like to kind of, wrap my hands around like, what kind of numbers are we talking about here, right? So let's say you borrow $250,000 from your policy at 5.5%. That costs you $13,750 a year. On that $250 at 5.5%, that's $13,750 a year. Now let's say you deploy that $250,000 into a private credit investment like the Imagos Income Fund at 10%. That pays you $25,000 a year, right? $250,000 at 10%, you're going to earn $25,000 a year. That's about $2,100 a month hitting your account. So when you pay out what you owe on the loan at 5.5% versus what you're earning at 10%, that net income to you, that's $11,250 a year on money that was already yours, already sitting there, just waiting to be activated and put to work. The beautiful thing, right? One asset, now it's got two jobs. That is what the bank does better than anyone on planet Earth. And you can run that exact same playbook yourself. Funds like the Imagos Income Fund, we are literally built for this. Senior secured, first lien, 10% annual preferred return, paid out monthly, true mailbox money, exactly the kind of vehicle the deployment side of this strategy needs. And most people don't have access to earn those kind of returns that aren't super risky, right? Putting your money in the stock market in choppy, volatile times, maybe you get a 20% return. If you feel really confident with that and you can do that safely, that might be something to do. But for most people, that's not the case. Too risky. Putting money into somebody's sexy pro forma syndication, you can get 18% return. Well, one, those are longer life cycles, and two, not always how they pan out, a little bit too risky. So opportunities like this, having people or operators or vehicles like this that you can borrow at a lower rate, lend it or invest it at a higher rate and keep the spread, a beautiful model to rinse and repeat over time. But in my opinion, it has to be risk mitigated, right? It's got to be somewhat safe. It's got to be somewhat boring, and that's okay. This isn't your home run strategy. This is your base hit strategy that over time, little things turn into big things. Now, I'm not going to pretend like this is risk free, right? Nothing worth building ever is. The loan interest doesn't stop if your investment hits a slow month. So you need liquidity outside of what you deploy. You need to be able to service the loan independently if needed. So that's the nice part about being in some of these debt funds is you can get your dividends, your 10%, on your total balance paid out to you on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. So having some of that frequency liquidity, I think is really important. Whereas in, some real estate deals or other opportunities, you don't have that liquidity, which can be a challenge. So your policy needs to actually be well structured. High fee, low cash value policies don't have the fuel or really make sense to run this playbook. If the engine isn't built right, if the rules and regulations, then you just really don't want to make sure that you are putting yourself in a position that you shouldn't be in and you don't want to be in. And this strategy is what I like to call kind of the patient money strategy, patient capital. You're not flipping this in 90 days. You're building an income engine. And the people who win with it set it up, let it run, and they don't touch it every time they get nervous. They let the money work for them. And of course, you maybe want some off ramps so you can put that money back in and then pull it back out again, right? So on ramp it, off ramp it. So having the right strategy and vehicle for doing this, it needs to be suitable to one, what your policy requires, two, what your goals are, and three, what your risk appetite is. These can be things, though, when you check all those boxes, can become really fun and sexy for growing your money. So again, this isn't going to be the get rich overnight strategy, but these are things that, one, I found massive benefits in, and I've learned this from a lot of other people that are way wealthier than I am, doing this at a really high level for decades. And now they are practically their own bank. They don't need to go and ask a bank, hey, can you give me a loan for this much? They're going to their life insurance policy, pulling money out and lending it to themselves, or they're lending it to other people. So these can be some really great strategies. But here's the thing. When the structure is right, this isn't a complicated thing. It's just discipline that requires execution consistently. And discipline is the only thing separating the people running this strategy from the people who will never hear about this. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Wealthy people don't just have more money, they have more systems. They're really not that much smarter. They just understand what systems and frameworks align with the goals that they have, and they find a way to execute with massive discipline. Their money doesn't clock out. It doesn't take weekends off. It doesn't sit in a savings account earning, 0.5%, wondering what it's supposed to be doing with its life. Their money is smart. It works simultaneously in multiple places through structures most people are not leveraging at a high level. The policy loan arbitrage is one of those structures. The infinite banking model is one of those structures. So borrow at 5, earn at 10, keep the spread, let the policy run, build the engine once, and then just let it play and pay you forever. The more you learn, the more you earn, right? Warren Buffett said this. These things are so damn cliche and cheesy, and yet they're so damn true, and they're cliche for a reason. So I'll take it further. The more you understand how money actually moves, the less you have to chase it. So here's the homework is talk to your insurance advisor this week. Of course, I got to give a shout out to Ryan Breedwell. He is my partner on Money Moves. I've got all my money in the stock market and my life insurance with him. I've been taking loans out of my life insurance policy. I know many people that I've sent over to him that have set up life insurance policies and loan on life insurance policies. We've actually got somebody doing that right now coming into the Imagos Income Fund with a $250,000 check that they're pulling out at 5. I'm paying them 10% annually. They're getting a monthly check, right? So whether it's your life insurance advisor or you want to connect with someone like Ryan, if you do want to connect with him, text the word X-ray to 844-447-1555 and you can connect with him. Whether you have a policy right now and you're like, I don't know what this does, because I actually had to transition out of a policy that the structure and the framework wasn't aligned with what I wanted to do. So that's obviously his world. I have no idea. I'm not even going to speak to that. But now that I have the tool, right, it gives me the ability to achieve and run the playbook that allows me to put points up on the board. Here's the thing about most investors right now. They're consuming a ton of content, but they're not actually more informed. They're reading all the headlines, they're watching the tickers, they're following all the noise that mainstream media wants you to follow. And at the end of the day, you're still not informed on what it actually means for your deals, for your portfolio, or for your next move. So if you're listening to this right now, I don't think that's you. I think that you actually want to understand what's happening, how it impacts your investments, what you should be doing going forward, what you shouldn't be, and not just reading about it. That's why I decided to build the Wealth Intelligence Brief, a newsletter sent to you 3 times a week directly to your inbox where we cut through the noise. We send you the macro data, the real estate intel, crypto signals, and all the unfiltered takes in 5 minutes or less for free. Eliminate the noise, keep the edge. Sign up by texting the word WIB to 844-447-1555. That's WIB to 844-447-1555. So you can call your advisor, you can ask about your cash value, right? Or I just log into my my Midland policy, and I can see it right there. I can literally click a button and it just comes, a check gets sent to me and it goes into my bank account. I mean, that's how simple it is, right? Ask what your policy loan rate is. Know that first, of course. Ask whether your policy was set up for a maximum living benefit, not just a death benefit. And if you want to go deeper on what the investment side of this actually looks like, if you want to learn more about the Imagos Income Fund, of course, we're honored to even be considered to be a proxy and a vehicle for helping you grow your money. So you can learn more about Imagos Capital at imagoscapital.com, or specifically the Income Fund, SEC regulated, for accredited investors only. We, of course, want to make sure that we are being great fiduciaries and stewards. This is not financial advice. This is not me, telling you what you should or shouldn't be doing with your money. But if we can be a resource for you, of course, text the word income to 844-447-1555. We put together resources specifically for people exploring this strategy, what private credit is, how the structure works, and whether it makes sense for your situation. So again, this episode aligns with you, or you think it could be valuable for somebody else, text or share this with them. And if you have any questions or comments, you can text us at 844-447-1555. As always, I appreciate you guys. We're going to continue bringing, we got the Wealth Intelligence Brief, the newsletter that really I wanted to, the perfect newsletter I wanted to have in my inbox 3 times a week. We have, with our team, put together something amazing that obviously there's a lot of news out there. There's a lot of shit that doesn't matter, that's confusing, that is manipulative, is clickbaity. We decided to put together a newsletter that sifts through all the noise, but gives you the stuff that really matters to help you as an investor stay informed, that helps with strategy, that helps you protect and or grow your wealth. And so if you're interested in getting on our newsletter list, that is launching. WIB, text the word WIB to 844-447-1555. And that goes out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So as always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to $1 million. Keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to $1 million and beyond. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers. Well, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you guys know this show would not be what it is without you, the amazing listener, the support, sharing this out with other people who can gain value from it, taking 60 seconds to leave a review. If you haven't done so already, those things mean the world to us and ultimately help us spread this message out to as many people as we possibly can to help them on their wealth building journey. If you have any particular links or resources that you're trying to track down that were mentioned in this interview, be sure to check out this episode at millionairemindcast.com, where you can find access to all that information. And of course, if you haven't checked out the Wise Investor Vault yet, be sure to head over to wiseinvestorvault.com to check out all the tools, all the resources, the checklists, the spreadsheets, the trackers, all kinds of amazing things that can help you on your wealth building journey at the wiseinvestorvault.com. If you haven't connected with me on social media yet, I'm consistently putting out more content, stories, value to help you on your wealth building journey. And one of the best and most exciting things for me on a weekly basis is getting to connect with you guys. Getting your DMs, hearing what things impacted you, what you need help with is a big way that we continue to drive the content for this show. So if we're not connected and following each other on Instagram, on social media at official Matty A, give me a like and a follow. Would love to connect with you there. And of course, don't forget to get on my deals list. If you're an accredited investor, you want to look at more deal flow, you want to see what deals I have access to, what deals I'm raising capital for. This is an exclusive list that I only put out to my accredited investor list, my Millionaire Mindcast family. So text the word deals to 844-447-1555. And with that being said, thank you again so much for supporting the show. Until next week's episode, keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to $1 million and beyond. Cheers.